I welcome you to the first edition of the on-ground urban debate, the urban debate Thane. We're very fortunate to have Mr. Sanjeev Jaiswal, the Municipal Commissioner of Thane, who's been kind enough to agree to be part of this event and to sit down with citizens and answer their questions. I'm extremely excited about the turnout that we have today. I think it's heartening to see so many citizens who are actively participating in the planning of their city. And I think Thane is a beautiful city to start this endeavor with, because it's growing, it's bustling, it has the opportunity to learn from the mistakes that cities like Mumbai have made, and it has done tremendously well in terms of planning and making its citizens comfortable and making its citizens feel cared for. The idea with this afternoon is to try and start a conversation between the people who are planning our cities and the people who live in our cities. And you know, we've had several conversations in the past, and I look at this as a continuation of those conversations. I know that you know, in the conversations we've had in the past, and I think your citizens should know this, being a municipal commissioner is a tough job, sometimes dangerous as well. How do you, you know, tell us what it's like when you have to make difficult decisions. Like, one of the decisions you've made lately is to clear up the hawkers on the streets. How difficult was that to execute and to pull off?
I should really thank the citizens of Thane that they have really supported this drive, and whatever roads we have undertaken in the last 6 to 7 months, one of the main reasons as to why we could go ahead with least resistance was the active support of the citizens. Without the support of the citizens, I don't think that we could have done what we have done in the last 6 or 7 months.
So let's come back to clearing out the hawkers from the roads. And from what I understand, you're giving them space within land that's been earmarked for hawkers. Tell us about that project and how it's going right now.
No, it's not actually hawkers only. What's happened is that many of the roads that we have taken up, and we are basically implementing it as per the width of the DP. And in course of the DP implementation, obviously, like supposedly if the existing road is of a 15-meter or a 20-meter width, and we are expanding it to 40 meters as per the DP width, or 30 meters. In that case, all the structures which were on the erstwhile road, on the 24 meters or 30 meters or 15 meters, they get affected.
Right.
Now, few of them get partly affected, few of them get fully affected, and the person loses his livelihood. Under such circumstances, what was important was that we had to rehabilitate such people so that anyone who's lost his livelihood, you know, does not feel that this has happened at his cost. So it was a very threefold strategy that was done. Initially, we got a plain table survey done. After that, a biometric survey was done to assess as to who are the people who are staying there, whether it is residential, whether it is commercial, whether it is industrial. And subject to the housing stock that we had, or the commercial stock that we had, we have even opened up amenity plots whereby we have allotted these shop owners who have been affected place to set up their new establishment.
Politically, were these difficult decisions to make?
All decisions are difficult. None of the decisions are easy, and Thane is a hotbed. That's what I can say. So obviously, decisions are always difficult. But as I said, that initially, yes, when we started off with Ghodbunder Service Road, I would say that it was the maximum resistance, because obviously it was the sort of a beginning. But subsequent to that, when we went over to Pokhran Road 1 or Pokhran Road 2 or Kalwa Buddhaji Nagar Road or Kakurwadi Walkum Road, or in fact Station Road, later on Kalwa Chowk proper, and finally Mumra and Kalwa again. So this, I feel, with the passage of time, the resistance kept on reducing, and as I said, because we had a rehabilitation policy in place, and I'm happy to say that we have been able to rehabilitate almost all the residential people who got affected. Either we have given them a house under VSUP or a house under the rental scheme. Right. And that apart, for the commercials, as I said, that apart, whatever could have been adjusted after the road widening was done. We have opened up a few amenity plots where we have done the layout for the industry.
I want to, you know, raise of hands of citizens here who have noticed the road widening exercise that has been done by the corporation and believe that it's a good thing and it has helped the people of Thane. Just raise your hands if you believe that it's a great job has been done. I think that's.
Thank you.
A round of applause.
Thank you.
While we continue to face problems, I think one of the most important things is to appreciate the good work that is done while it is done. The other big challenge that you have, of course, in a similar light is slum rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Nearly
Yeah.
50%, if I'm not mistaken, of the citizens of Thane live in slums. It's a challenge that you've personally, I know, pushed very hard for from the time you took over. Give us the status of where you are on slum rehabilitation and how your plan is going to be different, and I'm going to be slightly hard here, different from the city of Mumbai, which, let's be honest, has not managed to solve its slum problem at all.
You see, as far as the slums are concerned, as you rightly said, that out of, as per the 2011 census, after out of 18 lakh population, roughly around 8.59 lakh is the slum population. So that's roughly 50%. Now, as regards tackling the issue of slum is concerned, it's a very ticklish issue for the simple reason that, people want to be rehabilitated, but at the same time, they don't want to move out from the place where they are staying. Because it is just not the physical dwelling units which we are talking about. It's also, the
The
economic
location.
livelihood is also
Yes.
linked up to that. So the work in the vicinity and all that. Now, with the Honorable Prime Minister having announced the PMAY, that is the Pantapradan Awas Yojana, as far as the vertical one is concerned, the vertical one pertains to the slum dwellers. The responsibility of their rehabilitation has been given to SRA, that is the Slum Rehabilitation Authority. And as far as the vertical 2 and vertical 3, which are the project affected persons or those people who are living in the non-notified slums, these people are to be rehabilitated as per the housing plan that you make by the concerned corporation. Now we are trying to push up the matter with the state government and requesting them that the SRA responsibility should be handed over to the CO, as a CO to the municipal commissioner, because it makes more sense, but that's a policy matter. Now, as I said to you that as far as the slum notified is concerned, notified slums are concerned, the SRA is working on it. But what we have done as far as Thane Municipal Corporation is concerned, which I feel will definitely show the results in the coming years, is that we have been lucky enough and the government has been kind enough to approve our cluster policy scheme.
Okay.
And the final notification is just at the stage of issue. Now there's a certain High Court consent which is awaited. And basically what it entails is that once the cluster policy is implemented in the city, then this would be tackling the issues of the so-called dilapidated or the illegal buildings, including slums. So basically, if there's a tenement which is in the range of around 10,000 square meters or even 4,000 square meters, whatever be it, it is very haphazard today. It is unorganized. It is unplanned. And the basic amenities as far as the civic issues are concerned is in a very pathetic situation. Now, cluster policy would be a new window which shall open up all these areas to be tackled, including the slums, in the near future. I am hoping that the High Court would give the approval to implement this scheme very soon.
The other challenge, of course, with slum rehabilitation is that the general view that slums tend to be vote banks. So while the people living in the slums don't want their location to be changed, a lot of times political parties don't want those locations to be changed either. How do you handle those issues?
Uh, I don't know exactly how to react to this because obviously it is a difficult question to be asked to me. I think the political people would be a better person to address that. But having said that, it's not that at all the places the resistance is there. As you rightly mentioned, you see basically as far as only redevelopment of the slum is concerned, maybe on a consensus, everyone would be on a common platform barring a few. But the bigger issue is that if you are to rehabilitate them and you have to shift them, you're not doing in situ redevelopment. That's where the problem is because yes, it is a vote bank and no one wants to lose the vote bank. I don't want to quote cases, but then I know that I have had instances both here and even in Nagpur when I was the municipal commissioner, that the moment you offer an SRS scheme or you offer any BSUP scheme and you say that this person has to move out, this slum has to move out around 4 to 5 kilometers away from where they are right now, immediately what is seen is what is the jurisdiction of that ward. And the moment the voters so-called are moving out of the ward, then it leads to problem. But I personally feel that this is where the civil society has a role to play, and if the citizens of a city or if the people who matter, the voice who matters, I always believe in this that ultimately if the voice of a city is strong enough, then the political will has to bow down to that. So now it's the call of the citizens of the place.
One of the problems that I know that the city of Thane is facing is water. Having said that, we do know that it's been a tough year in terms of rains for most of the state. But how are you facing your water shortage? Because you're short of about 130 MLD, if I'm not
More than
mistaken,
that.
more than that right now. What are you doing to handle the water shortage? Once, thrice a day is when the water comes
There are
into Thane.
shutdowns. There, no, not necessarily. There are shutdowns like the TMC shutdown is once a week. The MIDC shutdown is for almost 60 hours a week, and the STEM shutdown. I have three sources of water, and the STEM shutdown is for 48 hours.
Yes.
Coming to the issue of water, you see now that obviously we are expecting the monsoon, so I can heave a sigh of relief and say that we have just passed off the wave. But yeah, it was a bad year as far as monsoon is concerned, and Thanekars are used to a very continuous water supply, and it was really difficult for them to accept the situation that they were having water cuts or maybe water supply not being there for 2 days or 3
In
days.
November, you promised us a water audit. Has that been done?
Part of that has been done,
Okay.
and as I mentioned to you that you see basically the problem of Thane city is that on a regular basis the city gets almost 480 MLD of water, and if I were to see the population and presume that on date it's around 22 lakhs, even then around 200 to 220 MLD is the per capita availability, 200 to 220 liters per day per capita, which is good enough. But the problem is that the distribution network in the city is not yet very good in certain pockets, especially the new expanding part of Thane.
Okay.
Like when you go further down from Ghodbandar side, which is which is a new part of city, which is really growing up. And there are pockets in Mumra and Diva, especially, and parts of Kalwa, where basically of the railway issues, there are certain pockets where we don't have a proper network. Now, under the augmentation scheme of the remodeling water supply, we have submitted our proposal under the Amrut scheme. And as far as like immediate measures were concerned, we took a lot of bore wells in the city this year, and we also went in for a lot of well cleaning. A lot of citizens on their own cleared the wells in the vicinity where they were staying. Overall, it was a bad year, but this year is going to be a good monsoon. But then the learning experience, obviously, is that somewhere I think that we will have to promote the cause of the reuse and recycle of water, because you see the supply of water is going to be limited, the demand is going to increase as years pass by, and creating a new source, though Shahi and Karu Dharan is one of the proposal which is in the consideration, but at some stage, if we are able to cut down on the use of filtered water for the non-potable needs like gardening or washing or even for the industrial purposes, then I feel that the net surplus, in the sense that the net availability of water would increase. Right. So we are working on that.
I'm glad you brought up the monsoon. Is Thane monsoon ready?
I think just 3 or 4 days back, one of your interviewer was there and she asked me about, is Thane monsoon ready? Well, yes, Thane is monsoon ready. Let me be very honest about it.
A lot of your arterial roads are still being worked on. So if it rains on those work sites,
it doesn't make a difference. You see, the point is what I'm trying, if you permit, I would like to explain this in a slightly detailed manner. You see, let's go road-wise. Ghodbandar Service Road, the work is completed as far as the right-hand side is concerned. We are opening it for the public in the next 3 to 4 days. There are certain electric pole shifting to be done, which should be completed by 7th or 8th latest. Ghodbandar Service Road, left-hand side, again the work is completed, but there the problem is of the 4 pockets of Sanjay Gandhi National Park, for which we have applied for the clearance of the State Wildlife Board and the National Wildlife Board. Kapurwadi Balkum Road, the work is almost complete, and the machinery out there would be moving out within a day or 2. Station Road, the work is as good as completed. Whatever remaining work remains, that will be over in a day or 2, and we are opening up all these roads. Why I am saying this is that the Kapurwadi Balkum Road, that chalk will be opened up. The Station Road unofficially has opened up, but formally it will be opened up for the public in the next 3 or 4 days, because we had code of conduct, so we had kept ourselves on the wraps. Now, as far as the Mumra Road is concerned, the asphalting part of the widening part has already been completed. Now, the problem is in Pokhran 2 and Pokhran 1. Now, Pokhran 2 we started late because obviously the widening took place a little later as planned. But the most important thing is that in Pokhran 2, we are not doing anything on the existing carriageway. Now, whatever shall be done is an expansion of the existing carriageway in the form of a service road. So basically, the existing road, the existing footpath remains as it is, and it is a further extension on the left or right. Pokhran 1 is concerned, the right-hand side from the Cadbury signal till Baltak Nagar, Naka, that will be opened up. Maybe, yeah, there a lot of machineries are still there. I am also a little concerned, but then I am sure that what we have decided is that by the 7th of June or 8th of June, that is the latest when when we go ahead with the whatever the civil work being done there, and thereafter we shall close the road as it is and see to it that if the left hand side part the utility shifting does not take place as planned, then maybe what we will do is we'll asphalt the road as per the condition as it is, and we'll take up the road after the monsoon is over.
Right.
So I assure the citizens of Thane that after 10th of June or maybe 11th of June, the heavy machineries that are seen on the roads, especially on Pokhran 1 and Pokhran 2, will not be seen. And as far as potholes are concerned, well, we are trying our best. I think we have covered up most of the potholes in the city, but whatever will surface up when the monsoon starts, we'll tackle it on a need basis.
All right. So now a raise of hands from citizens who believe that Thane is ready for the rains.
Not much.
Not much. This is some work.
Okay, can I ask someone amongst the people as to why do you feel we are not ready for the rains?
Does anybody want to? Yeah, just stand up and tell us your name first, please.
Hi, myself Siddesh Desai. I am president of Kalwa Parsik Pravai Sangatna, which is more than 1,000 taxpayers of Kalwa, and vice president of Mumbai Railway Pravai Sangha. So first thing, I like to thank about whatever action you taken on Kalwa, Mumra, and Thane. But unfortunately, from Kalwa is the situation is horrible. As the road from Karegaon Fatak to Kalwa, you can say it, almost more than a year it work is going on, and still there is no end. We are suffering a lot. So that's why we don't think that we are monsoon ready.
No, again, I would like to differ with you. You see, when we talk about being ready for the monsoon, it is more so in terms of the preparation for the rainfalls and for the waterlogging and for the flooding and the flash flood which takes place. What you have rightly pointed out, these are the infrastructure projects of, either the connectivity improvement in Kalwa or the periphery. Now, the Kharegaon ROB which you mentioned about, you see, it has got stuck up because of the land issues pertaining to the Mafatlal complex which you are aware of. And that you really, it is not something which is an immediate creation of this year. This is a project which has been pending for quite a few years. Definitely, if these projects take off, then obviously the traffic woes in that area would reduce. I know I have received a few complaints from some citizens and maybe some suggestions also either in the form of WhatsApp or on mail or through SMSs, saying that whatever debris or silt has been removed from the nalas or from the storm water drainage are yet to be shifted to the dumping ground. We are in the process. So, what the basic point, again, at the cost of reputation, infrastructure projects, like suppose that I also know the connectivity for the city, metro is very important. Metro has been announced yesterday by the Honorable Chief Minister. Now, if metro or the Ghodbandar bypass road or the Kharegaon Kalwa link road, these are linked up to monsoon readiness, I think that is extending it a bit too much. But yes, your points are well taken and I appreciate the points that you have raised. We are following up the matters, but it is not directly related to this year's monsoon.
All right, while we're talking about connectivity, the truth is, and I'm glad, you brought up the fact that the metro has been announced, but in the meantime, Thane station, which is, Thane is a great place to live if you work in Thane, but if you have
even otherwise.
Even otherwise.
I'm planning to settle here.
I'm sure the citizens are happy to hear that. But the Thane station right now is handling a load that seems far beyond its ability. The number of people who travel through Thane station to connect to the main city. There was a ring rail, talk of a ring rail that happened that never did happen. Now we're talking of a metro. It just seemed like the city of Thane needs a second station. Where are we on just decongesting Thane station?
Faye, if you recollect, last time when I spoke to you, I had mentioned about few of the projects which were in the planning stage as regards the decongestion of the existing Thane station is concerned. It's a fact that almost 6.5 lakh commuters move to and fro every day from the Thane station, and it is really overloaded. Luckily, in the last few months, because of the active pursuance, both at the government level and even at the level of the representatives out here, the alternative railway station for Thane, which is proposed at that mental hospital area vicinity, That has been principally it has been approved. Now the only issue is regarding the transfer of the land, and just day before yesterday, the GM of Central Railways, Mr. Sood, before retiring, he has sort of given the recommendation and approval to the plan that was submitted by the Thane Municipal Corporation. There were two opinions about the design. One was at the ground level, and initially what the GM was of the opinion was that it should be an elevated railway station. But finally, the TMC's plan has been approved. Also, there has been a meeting at the government level, whereby at the ministerial level, whereby the procedure for transfer of this land, because this land belongs to the state government and that to the health department. So now it has been finalized that this land shall be transferred to the TMC with the structures as it is, and in lieu of that, we would be giving them TDR, that's the transfer development rights. So two issues have been resolved. Third is that there are certain structures out there, so they will be rehabilitated. Now, what is pending is that after all these approvals which have taken place at the various levels, in fact, I just had a meeting with the Honorable Chief Minister a few days back on this issue. It was an informal meeting, and whereby like now we have requested the government to take up the matter with the railway minister so that the railway board can approve this proposal. So once the railway board approves this proposal, definitely I would say that maybe in the coming years, alternate Thane station will be a reality.
Is there a timeline to that reality?
Well, there are, as I said to you, the board's approval is one issue, that is where it is pending.
Let's assume it gets through.
If it gets through, then the second part is that initially what the railways had said was that they were willing to do this project on, on a financing on their part. Then they came up with a proposal saying that let us do it on a PPP mode. But then I think, as far as the finance part is concerned, that we will work out solutions. But if the approval comes, maybe say around 3 to 4 years.
Does anybody else have a question? The gentleman in the back.
I have this question. In the capacity of a pedestrian, it is really exciting and I would say recreationing to see that Thane is actually becoming a smart city. However, in the capacity of a human being, I would really want to ask you, sir, what rehabilitation plans are being implemented to allow for the mobile retailers and the hawkers by the roadside to actually come out of their congestion in the lives that this decongestion activity has brought about?
You have raised a very important issue, and actually for any urban planner, this is a question which has a double angle, in the sense that at one end everyone feels that hawkers should be removed, but at the other end there is a social angle to it, that that person's livelihood is related to that. So obviously, even if someone feels that why don't you remove the hawkers in one go, then the second question would be that where will they go? So keeping that in mind, if you have been following up the news, then just recently around 2 months back, we have declared a few dedicated hawker zone in the city. So I would say that evolving a full-fledged hawker policy by which any city would be absolutely hawkers free in the given circumstances or in the present scenario that we have looks to be a difficult proposition.
Are you appealing to citizens to not buy from hawkers who
I didn't say that. What I just said here was that there is again, as I said, like someone can question me saying that, okay, sir, like if I'm getting something next to my house, how can you stop me from going to a place which is 5 kilometers off? And the problem is that, like unlike the Western countries, you see that, like we have somehow lost the interest, I would say, to walk down and purchase things. We are so used to having things at our doorstep.
My name is Ashish Samant, and it's M. There's another rhyming word called as Savant. I had an authorized house in Eur. We are one of the oldest residents in Eur. It was broken down by TMC. The house of a person called as Savant was to be broken. It is all there in Times of India, Maharashtra Times newspapers.
When was this?
In 2010. Anyway.
I was not there that time.
You are not there. Anyway. Wish you all the blessings, sir. Since we are living in Eur, there was a tourism zone like Mathiran and Mahabaleshwar to be announced at Eur. What are the plans for Eur forested area from TMC? And I will meet you in your office. I would like you to help me out on this.
I'll have a look.
Okay.
Coming to the issue of promoting ecotourism in Eur, definitely the potentials are very high, and it's really sad to note that really not much has happened in the last few years as far as promotion of ecotourism is concerned. But just around 3 weeks back, I had a meeting with the PCC of Wildlife, Shri Bhagwan, and he was very positive in that meeting. And we have just finalized the design for that tribal interpretation center out there, which is coming up in Yor. So that basically will be funded by the TMC, and the forest department has given their consent to go ahead. We'll be submitting the plans. As regards the ecotourism is concerned, now the forest department has also taken it seriously. As far, you see, it's the role of the forest department. I really do not have a much of a bigger role to play in the forest areas. But as a commissioner, I can only say this, that whatever is proposed over there, or whatever is planned over there, we are planning to get the water body cleaned out there, and ensure that people can come there and sit over in the evenings. But whatever funding or whatever help is needed from the Thane corporation side definitely will be provided, but it is the forest department which has to take the lead.
I do want to ask you one thing. I have a feeling there'll be a lot of people here with very individual grievances, maybe in your time, maybe not in your time, but is there a system right now within your office for someone who has a grievance to get in touch with you, or to get in touch with the office to get it addressed?
Yeah, I think I must be one of the few commissioners who has changed the concept of meeting the citizens. On Monday and Tuesday, if it is me, if I'm present, and if I'm not present, my additional commissioner, we go out in the office. We don't call people to our chamber. We go out to the lobby, to the waiting room, on the floors, and we meet people, try to see whatever is the grievances which they have and which can be addressed. But then, there are certain grievances which, which can't be resolved very soon. But yes, if there are, like even because today people have assembled here, whoever has any individual grievances, maybe at the end of the show they can, give it in writing, or you can give it in whatever format.
You'll have to spend the rest of the day here.
I don't mind.
Given the kind of influx we're seeing in Thane right now, with all of the new construction that's happening, I know people who want to buy homes in Mumbai who can't afford it are now looking at Ghodbunder Road. So you'll have more people living here, you'll have more stress on your resources. And there is a need then to not just plan infrastructure for the problems we are facing today, but to plan infrastructure for the problems that are going to arise for the next 20 years, so that that infrastructure is valid. How are you dealing with that situation? How are you staying ahead of the curve for the demand for Thane?
You see, there are certain reasons in delay which we know which cannot be justified. But many a times there are certain issues which are beyond the the control of the local planning authority. Like for example, a lot of clearances are awaited from the MOEF or from the Ministry of Environment, Forest, Revenue, and so on. Then there are at times when you execute a project, there is local resistance and so on. But the point is well taken that if projects are completed on time, definitely it would lead to a situation where the cost increase would be taken care of. As far as the planning for the whole city is concerned, there are few projects, very iconic projects I would say, which is planned for the city. One was the metro, which has been announced yesterday by the Honorable Chief Minister. That is planned. The Kopri bridge, which is the railway bridge, that is one bottleneck which I feel every citizen of Thane who is commuting either to and fro from Mumbai by road faces. Now that widening of the bridge has been sanctioned by MMRDA. The work is expected to start after the monsoon is over. And last but not the least is that we are now working upon how to promote a very important scope of the public transportation in the form of inland waterways. So these are the way in which the infrastructure is planned. But even then, one important aspect which goes outside my ambit as a municipal commissioner is the multi-modal corridor. You see, the basic problem of Thane today is the traffic which is moving from NH3 and NH16. So this whole traffic moves across the city. And if we have a multi-modal corridor which is outside the city, then this traffic from JNPT or Udan, which is there, and moving towards Ahmedabad highway, if this is moved out, then definitely the existing pressure on the city would reduce. So infrastructure projects are planned, but then it takes time.
Okay.
Hello, sir. This is Anuradha Kadam. Now, this is regarding the, at the start of the show, you mentioned that, TMC also ensures that project-affected people are being rehabilitated. So now, I'm talking in the capacity of a home buyer in Thane, and it is not for me alone, for 900 families, okay, who have booked a home in Hubtown Limited at Pokhran Road, Vartak Nagar. Our project was later linked to MMRDA scheme, and there was rehabilitation done for around 1,000 families under the PAP scheme or something. So I would like to ask here, is it not the responsibility of TMC to ensure that if they are doing the rehabilitation and the builder has committed that the rehabilitation will be done and the flat owners will also be handed the homes by 2011. Today we are in 2016. The MMRDA buildings are lying. As it is, we are the people whose money have been used. Around 400 crores have been collected from us. The TDR was also given in 2009-2010, and we have invested in we have put our money in Hubtown, not in those MMRDA things.
But is the building ready?
No, the building is not ready. Neither our buildings are ready. 6 wings, 1,000 flats, and neither are the MMRDA building ready.
This was under the rental scheme?
Our project was linked to the rental scheme. I'm not from that rental scheme. I'm one of the people who bought a home to stay myself, and 7 years I'm staying on
why
the
I'm
street.
saying so that I think last week when I was traveling, I received a few Twitter message saying regarding this Hubtown. I don't know, like someone of you must have sent it. So I have in fact just asked my office to give me the details of what this project is all about and where it is pending. But I had received a tweet and I wanted to reply back to the tweet, but I didn't reply back for the simple reason that I said, let me first do my homework and find out what the scheme is all about. On the basis of the basic information that I have is that these were not projects which have been sanctioned by the TP of the Town Planning Department or the TMC. It was under some scheme of MMRDA. But I'll just get it verified.
Yes. There are common facilities like the water tank which has been constructed right in front of our homes.
But you're saying the building is not constructed, no, right now?
The building, 30 floors have been constructed.
And people have shifted?
No,
it's not ready yet.
Because the common amenities like the water tank, which comes under the TMC, I feel.
Come over to my office next week, maybe on Monday.
Yes.
With the papers.
Yes.
Because I saw your tweet.
We all tweeted.
Yeah,
yes.
I know, I saw your tweet.
Okay.
I'm active on it.
Okay. Okay.
Come over with the papers, we'll see how best we can help you out.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
My name is Uday Pradhan. I would like to highlight the plight of some senior citizens, tenants, who have been affected by redevelopment plans of the landlords and the developer. See, we have a building which went under redevelopment. The landlord told us to meet the builder and discuss with him. We went to him. For about 3 years, he went on dilly-dallying things and nothing happened. Then he suddenly he got a development plan passed by the TMC, and bypassing our building. We have a different tenant block, only the tenants, which was to be kept to be retained. In the plan it is shown as retained, to be retained. And then he goes to TMC, and TMC gives a dilapidated building status, and the building is demolished. So we are nowhere now.
There's a specific clause which is very clear, and that clause mentions that in those cases of redevelopment where a dilapidated building has to be demolished, the rights of the people who are staying over there is protected. And if it is protected, then the plan, once it is approved, will only be approved when the tenants who are there are like obviously the people who have the documents. When I say tenants, I mean people who have the documents with them. They are incorporated either in the redevelopment plan or they have had an understanding and they are willing to move out. Now in your specific building case, in case there are certain issues which you still feel that your redevelopment rights have not been catered to or have not been specifically incorporated, because maybe this redevelopment plan must have been approved prior to this policy of ours, you can kindly come and meet me on Monday at around 12 o'clock in my office. I'll have a look in your papers.
Very nice of you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Ashish Ogle. First of all, many congratulations to the work you and your team is doing. I think it's a great job. My question to you is the illegal structures and the hawkers that are displaced in Thane and have been demolished. How do you monitor that these structures and these illegal people don't come back to these areas? Do you have any scouting people, or how do you do that? And the second part of the question is, you just mentioned in the monsoons when the gaddas will happen, you will deal with it then. First of all, sir, why do we have gaddas on the road? I know for a fact that a country like Singapore, it rains and pours every day and every day. And the rainfall is as heavy as we get here. But they do not have potholes. Why do we have potholes in our...
Actually, this is a question I know citizens
Why
have
do we
across.
have potholes?
Why do we have
Why do
potholes?
we
Are
have
the roads
potholes?
of substandard quality to begin with?
No, it's not exactly as simple as it's the roads of substandard quality. You see, basically the strength of every road. Now, what is an ideal road itself is defined, is clear. Now, if you are going in for cement concrete roads, then definitely the sustainability of the road in terms of the load bearing factor improves. In our country, most of the roads that we have are asphalted roads. And if you have an asphalted road, then the moment you have a load factor over and above what that asphalted road can take, it leads to problem. A. Second is that, whether I admit or don't admit, it's a fact of life that you have overloaded trucks, you have overloaded vehicles, which is flying freely in the city. And third is, what I say, the intensity factor. Now, in cases wherever cement roads have been made, you don't get instances of a pothole being developed over there. But if I were to change the whole city into city roads into cement concrete roads or UTWT roads, it costs, and it really costs a lot. So that is where the problem is. At few places, like it could be that the work quality is of substandard, and definitely that leads to problems. Second is, when the monsoon starts and if any road develops a pothole, then, you really can't go in for asphalting again because that will not stick. So you can't have that hot mix technology used. The only thing which you can do is do a fill-up by using the cold mix technology. We are taking a jet patcher machine, which I feel to some extent would take care of the city. But then, yeah, I'll be honest, as a municipal commissioner, if I were, if I don't say this or if I don't admit this, that no one can assure that in the monsoons there will be no potholes newly created in the city. Potholes will be created, but the best that we can do is we can see to it that it is addressed to at the earliest. But the problem is, you see, like if you, I have this instance of nala cleaning. I'll give you an example. Now, every year before the monsoon, we go in for a very intense nala cleaning, and we get the garbage removed and everything that is dumped. And immediately 3 days after the nala is clean, again the filth or the dirt or whatever the material is, I have seen people throwing mattresses in the nala. Now, I have a basic question. Please don't take me otherwise. I am also a citizen. Even if I am a municipal commissioner, I am also a citizen of this country, and I take pride in being a citizen of Thane. My point is this the responsibility of the corporation only? Are not the people responsible for this? People who are staying across the nalas, they dump. You take a classic case of a sugarcane vendor, who does his juice. Every day he does, morning he does his shop out there, and the evening the first thing he does is he picks up all the leftovers and throws it to the next nala or the road which is nearby. So ultimately there is something called a social awareness which is also equally important. I have seen people traveling abroad, and many of you must have also traveled abroad. We follow the etiquettes so much that even if someone is having a chewing gum or a chocolate wrapper, the moment he is through with it, we wrap it and put it in a pocket. How many of us do it in our country? And this is a question which I think even the civil society needs to think about, that we need to improvise our civil sense. Madam, you have dustbins here also, maybe not as close as it is, but then the usage and the mentality, ultimately there also we put it in a pocket
Ultimately,
now.
it's a mindset, is what you're talking about. The lady at the back who has the mic, go ahead.
I have got two questions.
Yes.
One is, like say we have enough service roads which have been constructed, but most of them are obstructed by parked heavy vehicles. So it is like say half the road is covered. Point number one. Point number two is, like say I am here in Thane for the past 35 years. I've seen the development and we are very happy with the development. But one thing is there, if you go to Nopada, there is no parking place at all. I mean, so how do we go there? We are forced to take an auto rickshaw because we don't find any parking space. Otherwise, the cars are towed away or it has been locked. So these are the two issues which I would like to bring forward.
I agree with you that as far as service road is concerned, it is being, I would say, illegally used by the so-called, the car shops which are there, or the garages which are there, or even some of the heavy vehicles which are parked over there. In the last few days, if you have been reading the newspaper, we have intensified our actions on all these vehicles which are being parked by the showroom owners. And in fact, we have imposed a penalty of more than 50 lakhs in the last 3 or 4 days. I have in fact given written directions to the DCP traffic to see to it that all such vehicles which are parked on the service road should be towed or removed. Now, if I had things in my hand, but if I do it tomorrow, at times it comes in my mind that why don't I just take a JCB and bulldoze all these vehicles which are parked there. The moment I do that, everyone in the media and my friends like Faye would say, this is a commissioner. In any case, you have branded me by what names. I hear every day a new name for myself. Someone calls me a dabang, someone calls me a singham, someone calls me a demolition man, someone calls me a madman, someone calls me, I don't know what all you call me. If I do this, then someone is going to say that this is against the human rights. How could you demolish, how could you use the JCB on the vehicles? But I promise you, madam, I promise you that as far as the service road is concerned, it is on my personal agenda. It is on my personal agenda that I will see to it that this nuisance stops in the city.
Right, gentlemen. One moment, ma'am. Give
What do you call me?
We will also call you a Padyatri.
Padyatri, a new name.
Yes, because I have personally seen you walking down the roads, supervising your roads.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Out of these roads, we have had too much discussion about roads. You see, we are a modern city, and progressive Thanekars need much more than roads. We now need libraries. We need British Council. We need Max Muller Bhavan. We need the likes of Xavier's College having a campus in Thane. So I'd request you to look into that and get these on board. Thank you.
Good point. Good point.
So, I mean, the fact that Thane should no longer just be a satellite to the city of Mumbai, but actually have all of these facilities inside of the city of Thane in its own right.
See, we are trying to develop the amenities in the city, as rightly pointed out by the gentleman out there, that now it's high time that we need to move out from this concept or this tag of being only a dormitory city. And I know it's a little too early for me to announce at this platform, but then, I as a municipal commissioner, I'm trying to work on these aspects so that the retaining factor of the city, how you can retain a person who comes from outside the city and also the people who live within the city. Just let me complete. Have avenues of some sort of entertainment, have avenues of some sort of a cultural and other aesthetic sense to be developed. We are developing parks. I didn't mention that. I think we must be one of the few corporations. Your Central Park is coming up on the Kolshet Balkum Road, which is a park almost on the land of 35 acres. This is being developed jointly by 2-3 developers out there. It is being modeled on the Central Park of the New York, and ADAS is the designer for that. Another park is coming up on the Ghodbandar Road, which is in 22 acres, which is again a joint project of Hirandanis and Man developers and some of the RG plot which we had. We're coming up with a traffic cum children park on Bhayandarpada, which will also be having what I say a 4-acre of urban jungle. We're coming up with a fountain park. We're coming up with a skating ring on Pokhran Road 2. This is in the Wadhwa real estate complex, which is coming up. Aquarium is planned. It is coming up on the service road on the Raymond's amenity plot. A senior citizen home will be very recently announced, which we are doing under a construction TDR. A working woman hostel is planned, which is also coming up under the construction TDR. We are constructing police stations through construction TDR, fire station at Kharegaon, Kasarwadwali police station, Kalwa police station, and multi-level parking next to your Viviana Mall and Jupiter Hospital. So, but then yes, having said all this, the other aspects which go to shape a city in terms of that, the special tag is needed. I on my part, now I can say that with monsoons coming over to quite an extent, my previous 6-7 months have gone off mainly on the roads. I know there have been cases where people have come and said to me on a lighter vein, कि तुम्हाला भेटायचं असेल तर तुम्हाला रस्त्यावर भेटावं लागतात. तो दिस वाज द कैटेगरी. तो आई सेड कि अभी मैं रास्ता का आदमी हूँ तो रास्ते पे मिलो ना, प्रॉब्लम क्या है उसमें. But having said that, now the next 3-4 months, because I will be relieved of these issues, I shall on my part try to do my best. I'll open up a platform in my office whereby if any citizens have any suggestions regarding such aspects which need to be done in the city, I would be open for it and I will definitely work on it.
I bought a house, I paid money in 2009, and then builder made a joint venture with Wadhwa in Kolshet Road, the Everest World and Wadhwa, and now Everest World is saying I have sold the land to Wadhwa. Wadhwa is saying I have not taken money from you, go to Everest World. So last 6 years I am struggling.
We'll ensure that you get the flat. Have you paid the booking money? Have you paid the booking money?
Actually, the booking money, what they are trying to give is that.
No. I just have a simple, limited question.
Do you have a contract?
The booking money, like booking price, whatever they must have announced initially, Everest or whoever. You have records of it?
Yes.
Do you have a contract?
Your flat is assured.
I have record.
Your flat is assured.
I have record of.
Your flat is assured. Come to me on Monday. I'll call the developer.
Ma'am, go
Hello,
ahead.
sir. This is Sonali Loharia. Sir, you just now said that you are a very small man. On behalf of all citizens of Thane, I would rather like to say it in one sentence. Sir, you are what Thane always needed and always wanted.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the exemplary work which you have been doing, be it widening of roads or beautification of the city or demolition of illegal structures, and the underprivileged children in the education sector. You have been doing some very innovative schemes. Having said that, sir, the hopes and expectation of the citizens have gone really very high from you. But what are three those very important things which you want us citizens to do to facilitate the good work which you are doing? That is one question. And the second question
This is a difficult question to answer.
sir, you have been asked so many questions about what you are giving to us. What do you want from us?
Okay,
Is
all
the
right.
question. And
What do
second
you-
question is, sir, is about your reels, the lungs of Thane. So the conservation, I must congratulate TMC for demolishing the illegal structures, but there are many more. So the conservation of your reels is a very big issue, sir. So what measures have been taken?
You have asked me a very ticklish question in the sense, for the simple reason that if I were to say that this is what I expect from the citizens, then they would ask me, we are not paid for it. So you have a right to ask me and to question me and to fix responsibilities on me for the simple reason that I'm a paid government employee and obviously it's my duty to work. But then if I were to take the liberty, if it permits,
Yes, please.
good enough. I think, you see, it is the need of the hour for any citizen of any city is that develop a voice. Please develop a voice. What has happened is that, all of us are very good to speak to, are very good to when we have to address our issues in a crowd or, with people around. But somehow we fall short when it comes to voicing an opinion is concerned, shaping an opinion is concerned. And that is where administrators like us, or maybe people who are in the political sector, we start claiming that we are representing what you want. If the citizens of a city get alive, if they are unified, and more importantly, if their voice matters. I keep on saying this. I am from Calcutta. I know I have a slightly socialist bent. But, when I say this is a city, this is a nation where many of us, in spite of having a voice, is voiceless. But wherever the citizens develop a voice which is heard, take my words when I say it, you can force even anyone, including me, to do what is good for you. So just develop a voice.
All right, citizens have to develop a voice. I'm only going to take two more questions. We've completely run out of time. The gentleman over there.
Yeah, he wants to ask something.
Yeah, we'll come to you. 1 second. It's over.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. My name is Shashikumar Nair, staying at Hill Garden Complex. Thank you very much on behalf of the residents that after 12 years the road has been repaired, that from Happy Valley Junction to Sanjay Gandhi National Park.
Tikujiniwadi.
Yes, Tikujiniwadi.
Thank you.
And sir, last few days back we saw that the excavation work for that stormwater drain has been started.
Yeah.
We should confirm from you that it will be completed before the onset of monsoon, and whether it will be done on both sides of the road or only one side of the road.
There are certain structures over there on both the sides. At few structures, I just took a review yesterday, and those people who are owning the structures are not cooperating in terms of that gutter line which we are making over there. So maybe if time permits, I'll visit tomorrow in the evening and I'll see to it that whatever best can be done.
Thank you very much, sir, once again on behalf of the
It was
residents.
a long pending demand, I know
The
that.
lady,
Yes, sir.
the
Thank
lady
you
who
very
has the
much.
mic.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Meena Jaiswal and I stay at Kolshet Road. First, I will address the bigger issue that I have, and if time permits, I'll talk about other things. Okay, so I support something called Inclusive India. And in India, the accessibility is a very big issue. So can we do something about Thane buildings, Thane malls? Everywhere that I go, there are always stairs. I don't find ramps. And many of my friends who are not accessible, they just cannot use it. So are we sensitive towards making a more environment-friendly, a more water-friendly, and a more accessible Thane? What are we thinking about that?
Making public spaces accessible to people with disabilities.
I don't know whether in say a 10-storied or a 15-storied malls, whether you can have a full-fledged ramp out there. So I'll have to get it.
Is it part of the plans that need approval that it has to be
You see,
accessible in some way to people in
this
wheelchairs?
walkway which is on the slight slope, and like escalators are there. So obviously escalators are not of use for everyone. But then I've seen people coming with a wheelchair and using the escalators. But then maybe whether in the prevailing DCR making it mandatory for having ramps for all the levels, that has to be examined.
Because I mean, if we constantly compare what we do in India with what happens overseas, all public spaces are in some way or the other
No, you see, the
accessible
basic
to
access
people.
has a ramp. The basic access has a ramp. Now, what she's saying is that supposedly for all the floors, you're having a ramp, so that has to be legally examined as per the DCR. Access is there. As I said, the basic ramp is always there in all the public buildings or the bigger buildings which are there. Now, lifts are also there, escalators are there, so even then, if the ramps are needed, I don't know, we'll have to examine it.
Yes, Sanjeev, very first, thank you to you, and thanks to Times Now Network for bringing us on this, inviting us on this forum. I have one feedback. Like my friend, we work in the IT companies. So my friend, he's been interacting with the TMC through emails, and very good thing that I need to brought in front of everyone that he's getting the response from the TMC Commissioner directly. So it is very a positive sign that we are changing, we are improving. Second thing, I have recently seen the Nasik Corporation, they have started a site, a portal where they upload the approved layouts, approved building plans. So if we start such kind of portal where citizens can see approved projects, they will not fall into any foolish advertisements or anything, and then these kind of scams, frauds, that will not happen. So that is one suggestion. And
we are working on it. In fact, these directions have already been issued. Now, as far as the detailed planning is concerned, whether it fringes upon the third-party rights, that is the only legal matter to be examined. But as far as the general plan and the layout is concerned, that will be uploaded. And just to add on to what you said, we are working on the 100% ERP solutions for the corporation. And if everything goes off as it is planned, then by 2nd of October, most of the services in this Thane Municipal Corporation area will go online. And many sectors and departments have been identified. So just maybe Gandhi Jayanti, we have planned a lot of things.
Reacting to a couple of the questions we got where people didn't know whether or not their buildings were standing on a sanctioned plan. It would be useful if that information was online.
All plans which are sanctioned and all this, that is already put on the website. Now what basically his limited point is confined to the detailings of the plans, in the sense that 2 BHK, 3 BHK, and what is the layout. But there are instances, as you rightly mentioned, whereby the plan is approved and then later on the developer changes a part of it and the consumer is not aware of it.
Right. So second point is, sir, like you guys travel by the train, so that time I have observed that hawkers are there putting their shops on adjoining places of the railway platforms. I have made a complaint to the CRPF as well as the station masters. So sometimes they say this is not under our jurisdiction. So this may be under.
See, anything within the railway station complex is definitely the responsibility of the railway authorities. But outside the railways, yes. But then again, it's a joint responsibility. Now coming down to the station area, I know a lot of citizens out there must be having a lot of grievances of the hawkers and the different which is there and the satis and all that. There we are coming up with a very foolproof policy. We are putting up CCTV cameras over there. We'll be outsourcing the whole responsibility of ensuring that this area remains hawker free. And as I said before, now I can say that for the next 3-4 months, I will be able to get some time out for the other issues which are equally important for the city, and see to it that whatever best possible I am able to address it.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm Arun Saxena. I'm president of International Consumer Rights Protection Council. Okay. I keep on writing letters to him about consumer issues. Now, present issue is about speed breakers. Every day, so many people travel over the speed breakers. None of the speed breakers are as per specifications. So, when are you planning to build all the speed breakers as per specifications and as per the High Court order?
See, as far as the IRC specifications are concerned, it's obviously generalizing it that none of the speed breakers are as per the specification would be a little too stretched statement. But then, if there are certain speed breakers in the city which are still not in conformity with the High Court or the Supreme Court orders or the IRC norms, we'll get it examined.
We've run out of time. I'd like to thank Mr. Jaiswal for spending time, more time than you had agreed.
More than me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a very, very, very encouraging session.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.